We live.
Theme music. Hey, gotta have some theme music.
Hey
Create your own.
y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all.
Welcome back. We back at it again, babe.
We had so much fun the last time.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do you say round two?
Round two. Hey beautifuls. Welcome to Beautiful Life. We didn't have the topic at first because we had the topic last week, but forgot it. And then as I was taking out our daughter's hair from her braids, Lord, these little what was them things called? The butterfly locks. Never again. So we got the topic
Don't do
now.
it.
And listen, y'all, he got notes.
Got
He
notes
came
too,
down
boy.
the steps with notes. So
Hear that paper. Flop, flop. That's me.
welcome to the Unscripted Beautiful Life. I'm your host, Katrina,
Andre.
and we are creating a beautiful life. How y'all doing? I don't know if anybody here, but I'm trying to
It's all
share.
right. We're gonna be still
No,
here
no,
whether you
no. I'm
here or
trying to
not.
make sure it's being shared. I know
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not looking for that. You already know.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
But if you in the building, give us a thumbs up or okay in the chat.
Hey y'all.
Nobody yet. It's all right. We
We
here to
good.
have fun
We
with
good.
each other. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's recorded too, right?
it is.
Yeah, we're gonna go back and watch it like a movie. Telling you.
It's too early for this. Don't start this mess
Oh
today.
no, man, we're gonna have fun every day. Every
Okay.
day.
Okay. So what we talking about?
So as she was saying, we came up with the topic right after last Tuesday, then completely forgot about it this morning. What we were talking about. So she was taking out, well, she started taking out the hair, and then I was helping Nick with his homework. So then I jumped in, and in the middle, and she just stopped. Hey, I know what the topic was, and the topic is: does opposites attract? And I said opposites attract in a relationship, but does opposite attract in life?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. Because we talking about relationships, but we're not just talking about relationships. We talking about everything in life, man. We might talk about if you have kids, how our journey is with our kids. So we're gonna be everywhere. But today we're gonna strictly the opposite attract in a relationship. That's what I put. But we're gonna say in life as well.
Okay, so if y'all know us, then y'all know we are clearly opposites, right? Completely. He's the extrovert, I'm the introvert. Like I like silence, he like a whole lot of noise, creates a whole lot of noise. Like true opposites. If y'all know us, y'all already know. But I think that's what makes our relationship dynamic, right?
I know for it.
In that we build off of each other,
Yes.
right? And that when I'm down, you're up. When you're down, so vice versa. Like we just know, okay, it's time to be quiet, or it's time we need to live it up. And like I was saying last week, how you allowed me to truly see beautiful and like live life and want to live life and have fun and all the other stuff. Rick on here talking about most definitely him and his queen are definitely opposites attract. They're like the opposite of us.
Yes,
She's the
yes.
extrovert, he's the introvert. So that's my twin tip, your twin.
Yeah.
So we already know. Um, okay.
So I did a little research. One
Uh-oh.
thing that I would always tell the kids and anybody that I talk to, you should research while you're researching and still research because you can never get enough researching. So as I was upstairs, and me and Trina honestly are a living testimony of opposite attracts, those that really know me. And when I was upstairs, I'm reading some of the stuff online, and they were saying, does opposite attract long term? It may be right there in the forefront, but can it be long term? We push 12, right? We push a 12
When
and
you say
many's
long
more.
term, you mean sustainable? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Okay.
like a long term relationship, and that's not even just in marriage. That's in your friendships as well. Because I'll give you an example of if I didn't have Trina, I would have 7 out of wedlock kids. Yeah, I'm being honest. And then my first son name would have been Wolverine because that's my
Thanks.
favorite character. So when it comes to that, we honestly need someone, like, at least for myself, I needed somebody to level me out. Like, look, Dre, this, you got to chill out sometimes. You can't always be on the goofy and laughing side and all that. So
But hold on, can we go back to the 7 kids out of wedlock? Like, why 7?
that's how many I wanted, babe. You know that. That's how many I wanted. I wanted 7 kids. I wanted to have me a little mini basketball team with some substitutions. You
Oh
know,
gosh.
so
Okay.
um, and then out of the wedlock thing, I say because she put a stop on that. No, we're not doing that, buddy, until we get married. Then that's how I knew right then and there that she was for me because in the past I didn't like what they say, swipe left. I watched swipe left and kept moving, but the fact that I stood still and I knew that she was for me because I had never done that ever. Somebody told me that, all right, peace, boom, we moving on. So for that, that's why I say that it was definitely meant for us. We should have probably before we went down, we should have told them how we met.
No, let's not.
Cause then they'll really know like, yeah. They was meant for each other for real. But
No,
yeah,
I'm all right if you share.
but back to the internet thing. Just like I was telling y'all last week, we cannot go off of what someone else thinks about our marriage or what they think about our relationship. It's the same thing when it comes to your relationships with the opposite attract. Because the internet said no, it can't happen. But we're living testimony in it right now that we're pushing 12 years and many more. And we just growing and growing more that we go, and I get happier and happier because I'm finding out more and more things about her. I knew nothing about introverts and extroverts. I had no idea what that was. And till I went to a conference and it wasn't even had nothing to do with relationships or anything. This was a conference that I went to for Parks and Rec. It was called the Tri-State Camp Conference. And they really broke down introvert, extrovert. And then, because Trina was telling me, but then once I really stopped and I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I gotta chill out sometimes because my energy may be too much for her. So I that's when I had to learn. Like I learned every day. I learned something new with her. So that's another thing that keeps our journey going too.
But why somebody else have to tell you how it was before it like the bells and the whistles really went off to
Okay,
say,
okay, all right. Let's go back to that. As kids, our parents tell us what? What do they tell us? All the time, right? But as soon as someone outside of mommy and daddy say it, then
point
you
taken.
get it, right? So that's kind of where I was. And it wasn't that I was ignoring her. I hope she didn't take it that way. I really hope that she wasn't taking it that way. I just didn't understand
And I think
it.
that's the part people have to understand is that when when it comes to opposites attract, when they're not like you it does
I can't accept it.
you can't accept it, you can't receive it because you're like, what's wrong with them, like why they don't like the party.
Yeah.
But when you realize there's a time and place for everything, like you cannot, and I don't care if you like the best person, you cannot always be on 1,000. Like you have to have time to sit down and reflect and recoup and like get your mind right. It can't be always go 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 all the time, because at some point you're gonna get to
Mm-hmm.
burnout. And
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, okay, you get to burnout, then what? Like, how do you recoup that? And so I think that's where I think the understanding came in, was like, you understood me, but then I also had to understand like how you truly do act around people. Like you being around people gives you energy.
or
Where
I give off energy to others as
Right.
well.
But so it's a mutual thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, it's just like the light of the room, like the energy when you in that environment, when you're laughing and always playing and things like that, that gets you to go more. Whereas me, I can only take but so much of that. Like we experienced that on Sunday. Sorry, Tiff and Rick. But we were out with them, and I was wearing down. Like my battery was running low. And I think Tiffany finally realized it. So I had to apologize to her at the end because I didn't want my energy to cause anything. I didn't want it to interfere with her celebration. We were celebrating her birthday. And so I tried. I was trying I was trying, but it was just at one point I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go
But
type
that's
of
when
thing.
you fall back and then I come up with the
That's
energy.
yeah.
See, that's why it makes that great tandem team. I'm telling you, the internet it had me. I guess it was just because of how we are that I was very confused when they said that it can't work long term. I I can't because I'm a testimony to it. We're a testimony to it. I can't believe what that internet says. And then these old sayings, two birds of a feather flock together. You know, come on, man. These are old sayings that we need to leave in the past.
But did it say why it wasn't sustainable?
So I didn't have enough time to get too deep into that point.
Oh,
Um I was just looking on like topic points, and when I started seeing the topic points of it, I'm like, dang, it's a lot of stuff that we have dealt with in our past and it affects us in the future. So and saying stereotypes, all these things are stuff that we got to kind of like sweep it out of there and be like, nah, that's not it. We got to make that path.
right.
So if I'm listening to what the internet says, it's already throwing me off because it's saying that we can't work. Nah, that's I can't believe that. I know we can work because it's been working. If you can get past 1 year with a person, you can get past two. You get past two, you can get past three. It's about fighting, So I'm never gonna give up the fight of this because one, I'm not just doing this for the family now. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for the people that see me every day. That marriage is still a thriving and alive thing. We don't have to listen to what social media tells us that marriage is not here. No, it's still here. It's what you want to do with it. So yeah. Then the question was, can it work long term? Right now, what do we consider long term?
I think that's the thing. I think if you just say, okay, we're gonna take it day by day,
That's all you can do.
sometimes minute by minute, second by second, because you know how that is. It's times when you have just the other day you have an argument, and it's like, oh, I don't like you right now, but you realize like that's just a moment, and so you can't worry about, well, are we gonna make it to our anniversary? No, just worry about the next minute. Are y'all
Hmm.
gonna be good? And like really sit back and think about whatever that situation is, whatever you're going through, is it worth all of the good times? Like you go, and any relationship is going to have a bad moment. You may have a couple bad moments because life is going life,
Hmm.
but does it outweigh the good? And if so, then that's still reason to keep going.
Still
That's
reason to
still
fight.
reason to keep fighting.
Yep. Yep. That's definitely hit the nail on the head, as they used to say.
Okay, so let me ask you this
Hmm.
for the opposites attract. What was learning how I operate as an introvert? What was the hardest thing for you to accept or receive?
Um, One, I don't think it was so much just understanding the introvert extrovert. I had never heard that term ever in my life. So not, and that's where a lot of times where a lot of people kind of fall short with things is because when you don't know something, you don't understand something, you deem it as weird. You deem it as, oh no, that ain't it. Um, so it's that's a tough one, babe. Oh no, can I flip it? Go ahead, tell me.
So for
Then I might have
me,
an answer.
well, it was the hardest thing was for me was to always go go go, and like always um attending events, going out, the loudness. That was the hardest thing for me, is loud, because as a creative, right? So for me it's the introvert, but also for a creative, I could be in my workspace for hours,
Yeah,
right, at a time,
that's
and
Ariana.
that's what fuels me. But learning to be have to step out of the environment of wanting to stay isolated to be around other, that was hard for me because it can be draining
Hmm.
being around a lot of people. And I had to say, okay, I'm gonna go because I know what's important for him. But I also had to be like, okay, I'm gonna also drive my car, right? So that I
She don't
can
always do that
leave.
though.
But I don't always do that. But I've learned, right, that I didn't give myself an excuse in terms of, well, I'm not gonna go because I'm not feeling it today. It's like, no, I'll go for a little bit, but just know when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. And I think what was hard was being able to express that to others,
They still don't get it.
but it's gotten better because before I will always get a lot of pushback on why I was leaving or why I didn't want to come. But I think now they're starting to, as I evolve and can
Yeah.
become more vocal, I think they're starting to see me and say, okay, that's just how she is. Like, I'm not antisocial.
And
I
that's it.
just,
And I, when they ask me, where's Trina, or why did she leave? I say, well, I break it down to them because now I understand introverts, extroverts, and now I try to give that information as well. Um, so the journey that I am where I am now is that the information that I receive, the good man said, when you receive good information, give it out. And what they do with that information, that's totally up to them. So it's not that I'm trying to change anybody or anything like that. It's just that when I hear something that I think for myself is good information, I like to dish it out. Whatever you do with that information is what you do with it. So when my family and my dad picks at Trina all the time, like all the time. Now, my mom's like, leave it alone, Jose. Dang. and I know that Trina knows that he's not like being mean or anything, but that's just my dad, man. Those that know my dad, that's where we get it from. So, but yeah, it's so like you said, you answered for you. For me, it was understanding the introvert and extrovert. Once I understood that, everything else it came in a lot easier. Just understanding how it works, and then taking your own introvert and extrovert test, and then seeing where you really fall. Because I'm not all the way like the one that I did. It was from 1 to 20, and 1 to 9, or I think it was like 7 was your true introverts, and then like 19 to no, not 19. I'm sorry. It was about 12 to 20 was on the real side of the
extroverts.
extroverts. So I kind of fell. I think I can't remember my number, but I think I was like a 17, closer to the extrovert. But then I was like, dang, I got a little introvert in me too.
We all got a mixture. We're
Yeah.
all a mixture. It's just like you said, you lean one way or the other depending on your personality. And I think that's what, when you learn, when you know that, you like, okay, like today is the extrovert moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I can't have a whole lot of extrovert moments, right? And you have to understand that, hey, Nicholas, you just have to understand, like, we're all a mixture. It's just that we're going to lean more towards one over the other.
Right.
And usually your partner, your spouse is going to be from what I've seen in relationships. Now, if y'all, how many opposites on here do we have? How many opposites? If y'all are opposites in your relationship, put it in the chat. Let's see. I don't know if it's a time delay or not. Hey, Dee.
Sorry for the brief quietness.
Yeah,
We just checking
we
the
waiting for
chat.
y'all to put it in the chat. Yeah,
Yeah.
Felicia said they are.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm telling you, it works.
I think if you look at most relationships, they are most of the time you are going to have opposites. Tiffany said extreme opposites. Y'all ain't that opposite.
Y'all opposite, but
Y'all
not on the
opposites, Tiff.
extreme.
But I mean, I just think, just I don't know any couples that are both the same. I
Uh,
don't know.
um, I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of hard to try to think about it right now off the top of our head. But also again, you also have to do what works for you and yours.
Yeah.
Because if you are extreme opposites, you still have to do what works for you and yours. If you are the complete same, you still have to do what works for you two, and not think about the outside distractions, because that's all it is. It's an outside distraction. And I hate to say this, but a lot of times it's the people that envy what you have that give you the worst advice and the worst information, because they want what you have, but they just don't know how to obtain it. So it's that's I'm gonna say every time we on here, I'm gonna tell y'all, don't worry about the outside distractions,
No.
because that tears up
Nicholas,
a
please.
lot of marriages, relationships, friendships, all of these ships. It tears it up.
Yeah.
Envy, greed, all these things. So I I I just can't fathom what I was seeing on the internet, because if that was the case, then I'm done. I'm like, man, I lost. We can't work because the internet says we can't. Nah.
So I want to go back for a second, but back to the introvert extroverts real quick because um I think I know how we're one way or the other, but I also have seen how the environment can change that a little bit. And we really saw that with Nicholas. Um, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we were
Yes.
always in the house. Like Nicholas is the outgoing one. He's the one that plays all the sports. But when COVID hit and we were all kind of forced to stay inside, Nicholas now became the introverted. He didn't want to go out anywhere. Like when we're like, hey, let's go out to dinner. Why? I don't want to go. Can y'all just bring me something back? And it was, we noticed like the fact of that forced I don't know what timeout that we had to go into, that it changed him. And so now we're working through, he's now becoming more outgoing and, getting back out there and things like that. But it was just amazing to see how something such as an environment can impact that introvert extrovert piece as well.
Yeah, it's environment. It does do that. It does do that. Um, because that was a weird thing. But it kind of, to me, it kind of pushed Ariana to be a little bit more outgoing, because I guess she wanted to get out, because we were always stuck in the house so
Always
much.
like that.
So that was I'm glad you brought that up, because that was definitely something that I I paid attention to, and we always talked about it. Um, but yeah, it says she shifted as well.
Yeah.
So are are y'all still a little bit afraid of COVID, to where when making decisions to go out in public, does that still play a part, to where you may want to go, like, think about, like, all right, no, COVID still out there, so I don't want to go in? Or do you really think that it shifted you to be more of an introvert, or is it that we're leaning towards still COVID and being safe?
So for me, I think it's now I've realized that I'm more intentional with my time, and that I don't have to say yes to every invite. I don't have to, rush the kids to hearing it. It's kind of like COVID forced us to really recognize like what was important.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
like, is it really important to be rushing them from sport to sport and activity to activity? Or is it better for us just to find like a family night
Hmm.
and do something? So now for me, I think COVID has taught me to really be more intentional with my time and managing the energy. Because do I want to go to, a family function out somewhere and be around a whole lot of people? Like when we went to Mexico for our anniversary and we were standing out there for that, waiting for the van to come pick us up to take us to the
Hmm.
airport. At first we were it wasn't that many people around, and then all of a sudden more and more people came, and I could just feel myself like cringing and like, okay, take deep breaths, because I'm like, it's too many people. And so it just makes you realize now like even outside of the cautions that you have to take with COVID,
Hmm.
that it's still like, oh, do I really want to do that today?
Yeah, but like you said, being more intentional with your time. And one thing that I could say is that COVID for me definitely helped me with my patience in the house, because we couldn't go nowhere. We couldn't go nowhere. I I mean, the most that we could do was go take the dog out for a walk. Me and Nick, well, we did a lot of bike riding, but it still wasn't. It wasn't. I don't know, outlet, because you still had to go right directly back in the house. But yeah, the environment can definitely change you as an introvert, extrovert. The people around you could also do that as well, because if you are finding yourself around a lot of negative energy, it's not gonna want to let you out of that environment, because you're like, every time I'm out, it's just always negative. So, feel yourself and feel the people around you with that has that positive energy, that don't always have negative things going. Yeah, man, everybody is going through something, but we don't always got to hear it. Sometimes you got to just keep it to yourself and fight through it. It was video that I shared, one of my coworkers shared with me, and it was about 5 minutes long, and I shared it, let Trina and the kids listen to it. And at first, I was like, "Oh, I don't like that he said that," but at the same time, it's a double edged sword type of thing. He said, "Don't let your friends know what you're doing before you do it." And you could look at that as a lot of sided ways. You could look at it as your friends may take what you have, take your idea, what you're trying to do, and then they take it
Mhm.
further. Or they may cast whole lot of negative energy on you till that doesn't happen for you. Because the words that we speak into the universe, it comes true. That's manifesting. So people, you can manifest negative things as well. So if you have a great idea that you want to open a business, and you tell a friend, and they could cast negative things on you, and that don't work for you. So, and I took it at that, but then I also took it in a way of saying that if you do allow your friends or your family what you're doing, they may give you more ideas to help you build that.
Mhm.
So it's when you look at things, we can't always look at things one sided.
I think you have to um look at the friends, the circle, because there's some that you can go and say what you want to do and it stays there, like your trust back, right? You can trust that. And so because I'm guilty of moving in silence. Like I'll be somebody speaking, why you didn't tell me? And I'm just like, I don't know. And I'm learning to share more because I know that I do have cheerleaders, and you have to understand that okay, it's time for people to show up for me just like I've showed up for somebody else. So I think you have to look at your circle and realize who can you trust with your goals, your aspirations, versus okay, who the people you're like, nah, I better keep this to myself. Like we all know it. You know that group of friends.
So in that case right there, and I would say friends or family, if that's when we had to start letting them dead leaves go. It's fall, drop them dead leaves.
That's true.
If you got people in your circle at this point in your life, and they not uplifting, and you're not reciprocating that, it's time to let it go. That's a dead end relationship. That's a dead end friendship. It's going nowhere. So you turn, go the other way. Because you should have people around you that are uplifting and that you can do the same thing. But at the same time, you should be able to have those friends. You shouldn't have yes men or yes women. You should be able to have those friends that say, listen, that ain't gonna work. Try something else. And you can trust what they saying is not that is not a negative. It's that they really believe that may not be the right route, the right way to go.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, because you definitely know definitely need that circle of friends that will be able to say, like, that will cheer you on, but that can also kind of say, sis, that ain't looking too right. You need to pull that together. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Because you don't need those yes men in your corner. Because they're not gonna be good for you.
Yeah, tell me when I'm wrong. Tell me when I'm right. Tell me when, like, hey, let's rethink this thing through. Because I mean, we've definitely had them conversations and
Yeah. Yeah.
like, babe, I don't know about that idea.
Yep. Yep. And back we can go back to on the relationship piece of it. Um, a lot of times before you make a big drastic decision on anything, talk to your significant other.
Yeah.
You should never make any. I don't care if it's financial. I don't care if it's anything. If it's something that affects the household, it should be talked to both. So that way, it's not a surprise. Like, oh yeah, no, don't give any surprises unless it's a good surprise. Don't go there, babe.
What?
You looked at me.
I can't look at you now.
Mm-mm, not on live.
I was, oh Lord, let me get a blinder up. He said, "Don't look at."
um, but back to the internet, and there was some stuff that I found on there, like kindness is a magnet. I tell this to Nicholas. Nicholas has a personality that's so inviting that I have to keep telling them that, bro, you have to be a positive leader.
I wonder where he gets that from.
And then his heart is crazy too. Like I'm gonna give y'all a story. Y'all see my necklace? I wear this necklace every day. I never take it off. I'm gonna try not to cry on this drink. And we went to the store to go buy Ariana a birthday gift. She's at the age now where we'll rather take her shopping and buy her something special in this that she could open up. So we out there and I'm like, come on, Nick, man, let's go look around. So we looking around, and I've always wanted a new chain. I love this one. It has the Lord's Prayer on it, and it was a ring to match it. And I bought the chain. I found one. I loved it. I bought it, and I gave Nicholas this one. I said, "You can have this one, Nick." But then I was sitting at work, and I was like, I should have gave that boy that chain. I shouldn't have took the new chain. I should have gave him the new chain
Oh, you
because
wasn't at work. You was still in the store.
when I gave it to him,
Mm-hmm.
no, man, I gave it to him in the house because
Cause
I
remember he
cried.
started crying.
Yeah, we was in home.
I thought y'all was at the store.
No, we was in
Oh, my
here.
bad.
We was in here. Yeah, because I came home that day and I took it off and I said, Nick, come here. And I took the chain off and I put on. He was like, no. I asked him a question. I said, Nick, what chain you like better? Because he was wearing this one. I said, what chain you like better? You like this one or you like that one? He's like, I like this one, Daddy. I said, no. I want you to be honest with me. I said, please tell me which one you like better. He's like, I like both of them. So the new one off, and I put it on his neck, and I put this one back on. And he came and gave me a hug, and he just started crying. And I was sitting there, and I'm like, boy, don't do this, bro. You about to make me cry. And I knew why he was crying is because that boy is his love is different. I love all the kids. They love me. He's different. He is different. So after he got himself together, I said, bro, was you crying because I gave you that necklace? He was like, yeah. I said, bro, I give you the moon and the stars like I told mommy, man, if I could, bro. I'd do anything for y'all. And that's just how he is. And then he cried about something the other day. Um, and it wasn't like it's not even like me being mean. It's just the smallest little things, man. He'll tear up because his heart is golden. And then his personality is so welcoming and warm. So I tell him, I say, look, man, you can't be a negative role model You have to be a positive role model. Why, Daddy? I said, because you have the personality that people are going to gravitate to you regardless. You know what gravitate mean? He was like, no. I said, what the word? Gravity and gravitate has the same words, same meaning. So people are going to pull to you like a magnet. And if you're giving out negative energy, it's not going to be good for you. So you have to constantly give out that positive energy, positive love, all that, because it's just crazy how magnetis magnetized his personality is.
He a
Um,
sour patch kid to me.
uh,
Like he turn on and off. Like one
yes,
moment
indeed.
he wants to be the nice cuddly, and the next minute he like I could care less
Yeah,
right now.
I'm pouring salt in the wound right now. Yeah,
Ain't that bad,
yeah,
babe.
but no, he's definitely that Sour Patch Kid, man. But it's one of the things where I was telling my little cousin is that there's no book in parenting. You know, there's books out here, but how does that say that way that guy or that woman raised their child? Would that work for you? I realized that I can't discipline. I got 3 children. I can't discipline all 3 of my kids the same. I have to discipline them all differently because they all have different personalities.
That's a whole nother little series right
Yeah, it
there.
is. It
Cause
is.
kids and seeing their different personalities, and he talking about blended families, and that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
That was
But
hard.
but we'll get to that one later because we still over here on these opposite of tracks. But it's it can be done. It can be done. Nothing in this world to me cannot be done. Whatever you put your mind to, you put your heart to, you put your 2 feet in front of you, it can be done. So yeah, and we still working. We still working, and I don't plan on giving up no time soon because this is we was just look what we was working on earlier, babe, with Nick. This a roller coaster ride. We was just doing
Somebody else said shit. It was a roller coaster.
it's a
No,
roller
Rick
coaster.
said Rick said Tiffany was the roller coaster and he was the subway train. That's what he said. I think something like that. Yep,
Yeah,
there you go.
it's a and roller coaster rides are after reading this passage with Nicholas, they're made to be scary but fun at the same time and be safe. My lips look white, babe. Need some
I
chapstick.
ain't got none over here. It's on the other desk.
Well,
Tell one of the
we just
kids.
gonna be over here looking
Want
like
some gloss?
no. We just gonna be over here looking like I ate pot of donuts. That's it. Uh, so I gotta make sure that we keep some good stuff around.
Nick or Ari.
Uh, but yeah, man, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm glad you asked me to do this, and Alicia too, for definitely inspiring us to get on here. I'm uh I'm having a great time, and I hope y'all having as great as time as we are.
Tiff said, "Don't scratch the neck."
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with the
What you got on your notes?
That's it, babe. I just was
Oh,
quick
okay.
with it. Quick with it.
No, I think this was good. I think it was, as we were talking last week after the show and kind of figuring out like, okay, maybe we should come up with some topics. And I don't know how we came up with opposites attract, but we was like, that's it. And we realized like we were true opposites. And like now that I'm thinking about other couples, I don't know any that are the same. Like I think majority of them are opposites. Cause
That's
I
why the
can't see
internet
like
is
how you gonna have
BS.
two. Cause think like how can you have two quiet folks in a marriage? Like somebody got to you know be the one that no one wants to take charge. Cause I ain't gonna say introverts can't take charge. Y'all know what I mean. Like it's just you can't have two extroverts all the time, always going. Like it's
Right.
got to be balance in it. And I think just like with opposites attract, is balance to everything. And so it's like you got one that can pull it in and one that can say, okay, nope, let's go have some fun and let's live on the edge right now and be okay with that. Like even as an introvert, it's still okay to learn how to live and like live unfiltered. Is that ain't what I was looking for. I wanted to say unadulterated, but that ain't it either. But like live in loud, live in, just not necessarily worrying about always having a plan. Like him and plans, they don't work. Like he just, nope, today we going here. But then I also do see moments when you don't want to just go. You're like, I don't know, babe. Like,
No, because when we went to uh well, no, we didn't just go because I was looking up something for us to do.
uh,
When we just one day we was like, let's go somewhere. We didn't Nick didn't have a soccer game, or the soccer game didn't start yet. So we was looking for something to do, and we ended up going to Scary Strokes.
uh-huh. But I think
But
that's where it shows is like, even though you are that I am an introvert, that there are still going to be moments when I do want to just go, because it's like there's still going to be an urge to do something different. So like, okay, as you're learning to live life beautifully, right? There's still some moments when you're gonna be like, you know what, y'all, let's go get in the car and just don't, like the kids say, well, where we going? I don't know, we just riding. And then you find something to do, like live in the moment and truly appreciate the time that you do have with each other, because when at the start of COVID we were very limited on what we can do, and so
yeah,
now it's like you can't take those moments for granted anymore,
mm-mm. I just go.
and you got to just go
Yeah,
now. Like you were saying before, some you still can go but still have a plan sometimes,
yeah,
but you just gotta go and not necessarily worry about it.
yeah. There's nothing wrong with a
Shanisha
backup
says she's
plan.
bored. I
Yeah,
answer.
it's never nothing wrong with a backup plan because you get where you're going, and then you see it's like, oh no, it's too many people here. Let's go somewhere else. Or say you go because you never know what can happen in life. Like you could go online and they say the business is open. When you get there, business been closed for a year. So is nothing wrong with having a backup plan ever.
So Shanisha says she's an introvert, borderline antisocial, and then her husband is an extroverted social butterfly. And then Tiffany was saying this: your husband had to talk to everybody. Tiffany, listen, this right here. I don't care where we go. There's going to be somebody that he knows. We were in coming back from my anniversary, and we were in was it
Miami.
Miami Airport.
Miami.
Saw somebody he knew. Like everywhere we go, there's always somebody that he knows. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is because it's like you see the different parts of him, like just the interaction, and just like, oh man. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, you do talk to everybody.
Man, you can learn so much from a stranger, man, for real. I'm gonna tell y'all, I've been to the point where I've stopped and talked to
Well, I
homeless
didn't know
people.
that. I'm gonna have to research that, Rick. I ain't know
What?
that about Adam and Eve being the first introverts and extroverts. I did not know
See,
that.
see what I'm saying? And why am I just learning about introverts, extroverts at 37 years old? Now we should have been talking about this as a kid at home in the classrooms, because
Do
the,
they do personality tests in the classroom?
no,
They
no,
don't.
no. So certain schools will send home stuff so that way the parent can fill it out on how they think their kid is. To me, it should be the kid filling it out because that's who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with the parent. I work at a community center, and we have kids care at our community center. And one of the things that we fill out, that we send out, is all about your child. And on there, we ask for the parent not to fill it out, have the child fill it out because we want to know what the child really, really, really wants, not what the parent want the child to have. So, yeah,
But I think too, when it comes to that, I is it part? I need to ask Kayla this. Is it part of the curriculum for teachers? Because I think sometimes if you understand a child's personality, then there's a way that you can tailor the way you teach
Mm-hmm.
them,
Mm-hmm.
knowing their personalities.
Yep.
Because sometimes, like, if you think about you, you know, you do have the quiet kids, and then you have the ones that are like always outgoing, and you know, the quiet ones are like the ones that are going to fall through the crack. And maybe because they don't say something all the time, that doesn't mean that they don't know it. And I think if teachers understood that, because like Ariana is a prime example, like she's real quiet, and we'll hear comments from her teachers all the time about, well, I don't know if she really knows it because she doesn't say much, but like, but she does know it. But because she doesn't say it, right, they just assume that she
Yeah.
doesn't know it. And so I think if teachers and actually parents, if they understood that, then I think it would be easier to help our kids walk in who they truly are.
Mm-hmm. So just back to that, because I was also in the school system for 15 years with special ed, and I used to tell my I told all my teachers this. I don't have a degree as a teacher, and a lot of times the teachers will actually listen to what I said because the impact that I had on the kids. They seen how they really never disrespected, and I worked with behavior kids. This is why I never really like to say I worked with special ed, because the kids that I worked with, to me, they weren't special ed. They had behavior issues that affected their education. So I learned a lot being in the school system that they put these kids in these things because they get funded, and that hurt me because the funding don't really go towards the kid. If you're getting funding because of this kid is in special ed, then let's get that. Let's get that money. It don't have to go into the kid's pocket, but let's get them more resources that they can have. You know, so it that's kind of like how why I got out of it as well, because as a parent, you can't really make too many changes. You kind of got to be up there to do those things.
Shanisha made a good point when she says that if a teacher's biggest mistake is to assume that a child
Yep.
is like their sibling or try to treat kids all the same. Because I remember stories you would say about Jesse and how he didn't want to fall in you and Kevin's footsteps. So even with Keita and them
Yeah,
too,
it
when
wasn't
she'll
just
say
Jesse.
like, "Oh, here come another Henderson coming into school," and you just realize like teachers will label you like
Yes.
that, thinking, you know, your sibling was one way, so you must be the same way as well. And so I remember, you know, was Jesse saying he didn't want to do that because he didn't want to have to go through that at Roosevelt.
Yeah. And at Roosevelt, it wasn't even so that bad. It was when I was in elementary and middle school. Um, Jesse was 7 years younger than me, so he didn't really see the same teachers that I seen. But my little cousins that's just a year, 2 years, 3 years younger than me. You a Henderson? Are you related to Andre? And I a lot of times don't tell them that you are. We not related at all. Some you could say yes, because there was some that loved me for how I was, and there was some that hated me. Now, let me not say hate because that's such a strong word. They disliked me very much
You was just bad.
because how I was. I wouldn't say bad, babe. And everybody in here that know me, they that know I didn't take nothing. I wasn't taking no disrespect. I mean, that was coming from anybody. I'm gonna respect you till you disrespect me. Then it could go how I go. But and I try to push that on to the kids now that don't be a terrorizer, but also don't be a pushover. Don't let people just walk all over top of you. Stand up for what you know. Stand up for what you want to know. You know, and we have to just parenting in the house and don't allow the school to parent.
I think that was the biggest thing that we're trying to teach, especially Ariana, is using her voice because she is quiet, which means she can fall under the cracks if allowed to, and just getting her to say, okay, if she doesn't understand something, then speak up.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, just convincing her, working with her with the confidence thing. I mean, she gets it honestly, right? And just knowing that if we as parents can see the little things to help them, maybe when teachers can't see it, because I mean, hey, we got three in here, right? But a teacher's got 33 in the classroom. So I get it. It's hard to understand. It's hard to identify that. It's hard to adapt. It's hard to meet every child's need in the classroom. But that's where I think the community parenting support comes from, is that if we can all come together to make a difference, then there is no child left behind. And not just
Yeah.
because we say so.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, that was I'm gonna tell you, that's one thing that I seen in the school system where it was like a disconnect between teachers and parents. It was a big disconnect. A comedian said this. He said back in the day when you came home and you told that you got in trouble and you weren't allowed to say my teacher just don't like me. They will hit you with what is it that you're doing that your teacher doesn't like. Now we're in a time now where kid come home and could have been absolutely just destroying the classroom. All right, now let's go get your teacher fired. That's where we are now. We can't. We it's too much of a disconnect for that to be the case. Now I always say this: there's good teachers, there's bad teachers. There's good police, there's bad police. There's good judges, there's bad judges. There's good and evil in everything. But what we are allowing is the evil to take over right now. We can't allow that. We can't allow that. I really listen to what the kids listen to with their music and everything. Because I used to hate when my parents like this. The music is demonic. Is this? Is that? No, it really is. Because if you listen to the radio, just listen to the radio and hear what they are allowed to put. I'm not even just talking about cuss words, just the derogatory things that are allowed to be said on the radio from the time that's 8 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock. And even it's really the whole day. But when I was a kid, certain things were censored from this time to this time because kids was up. Nothing is censored anymore. They're putting all types of stuff in on everything. So we have to literally get back in that house and start parenting and put God back in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah, Shanisha, you know what? You are correct. And maybe one episode we'll share um her journey. Because I do know that she is going to be a powerhouse with whatever journey she take. Like, she's going to be a healer of the world. I already know that, just because of her journey to get here. But she's quiet now, but she's powerful. I'll share one little thing with her. Right at the start of COVID, um she had come to us and said that she wanted to go hang and put some signs up in the
Oh
neighborhood.
man,
And we were like, okay,
I
like,
think I still got a picture of
I
that,
do
man.
too. I still do too. And we didn't know what was on these papers. So we all walking outside. And we're going around from, like, mailboxes to this or whatever. And we're putting up signs. So she pulled one out and it just said, I love you on it. And we looked,
All the signs.
all the signs, like every single one of them said, I love you. And oh, I got to get through this. And to know that in the midst of her being like confined into space, like, she still thought enough of some to be able to share something else with somebody else was very powerful and heartwarming and just like made you feel good. But when we walked around the next day, somebody had written on one of her signs, I
Yeah,
love you too.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's like
Somebody,
making
yeah.
an impact. And so I know with her, she is definitely going to be a healer of many. I do know that, because just for her to come and share that with the world. And even like another moment is like when she caught COVID, and how like she was confined to her room away from us. Like she made
Oh
this
yeah.
whole poster
Yeah.
of like day one, and she had a picture of herself
All the way
and
to day
like just
10.
all the way till day 10 because she couldn't. And it was just like she um created her like little memory book poster of her
Hmm.
journey in COVID and just understanding like that's when I realized like you don't want your kids to have to experience that, but I also knew that God chose the right one to have to go through that because of her personality. She was
She was in heaven.
equipped to like she was
She
like she
was
was
in
good. I'm
heaven.
in here by myself. I got a
Yep.
TV, I got the bed to myself, like all the things. But just to know that she was okay. Like now,
We
the
didn't have to
oldest
worry about her.
now listen, when the oldest one caught it,
And
and she
Nicholas.
had, but yeah, Kayla was Nicholas was okay,
No,
but
no,
when
no, no,
I
baby.
mean up until a point, but when Kayla got it, she could not stand to have to be confined to her room at all. Like it drove her crazy. She was crying. I ain't gonna tell too much of her story, but
No, but Nick was
but
the same way. Remember,
Nick was the
he
same way. He
started out
didn't
that
like
way,
that. Yeah,
but then he when he found out that he can be in there with Ariana as well, that helped him out because Ariana caught it first. Trina was out of town, and I took her to College Park and found out. I think we went that Saturday. We found out that Monday. Trina came back. I think that Sunday, and then so Ariana's in the room. She's in heaven. We take her to food, put it down. She picks it up. She's in heaven. Now Nick is, Daddy, that's not fair. Ariana gets to eat in the room. He's going for it. He's going for it. Because Nick's 9. So he had to be what 6?
6 or 7.
Yeah. So he's going for it. And I'm like, Nick, man, you don't want this, bro. Like, trust me, you don't want. All you care is the fact that you get to eat in your room. She's by herself. So I'm trying to tell him that this is not what he really wants. So then now going into the next week, me and Nick is going bike riding all the time because we needed something to do. So we're going bike riding, and we live in Prairiewood. We will ride to either Glenarm Baptist or we will ride to Watkins Park. Both of these days, it was a Tuesday, it was a Wednesday and a Thursday. First day, Nick went to sleep at 8 o'clock. I thought it was the bike ride because we went far. I'm like, man, my man really out. Went to sleep at 8 o'clock. We had to wake him up the next day. Normally he's up. We had to wake him up the next day. And I'm like, all right, maybe he's just a little tired. So we do the same thing the next day. Same thing the next day. Hop on the bike. Boom, we take off. We come back. Same time, probably 8:30. He out again. I said, babe, we might need to get this boy tested because he kept saying, he was like, I'm fatigued, I'm tired, I'm tired. We tested him that, I want to say that
Saturday, I
Saturday,
think.
we went and got tested. He had COVID. It went crazy. So now, Nick is one that's always up under you, regardless of it. He's up under me, he's up under Trina. I'm taking them to College Park. Trina ends up getting COVID. I didn't get it. I don't know how I did it. Knocking on heard I heard that. That's knocking on that wood. Um, I don't know how because half the time that was you went out of town again. Not out of
No, not
town.
that
Not
time.
that time. I
Mm-mm.
think you was vending or something maybe. But I was like, wow, it was just crazy how it worked. God didn't have a plan for all of us to be in here with it. And then Kayla got it later on,
Like yeah,
about
couple weeks after
after
us.
that. Yeah. But yeah, and well, the first time really why Kayla didn't get it, she was still living on campus at that time when the kids and Trina had it. And then I think she had moved back because she had
No,
got
I
it the
think she
second
got it
semester.
from school. I think she caught it from school when she got hers.
Oh, yeah, but yeah. So it is.
But it just goes to show like the different personalities that we have. You also see it in your kids, and so if as long when if you haven't researched the other personality type, then I want to suggest that you do just so you get a glimpse of our world, their world to experience. So the next time you have that conversation or there's a situation that comes up in your relationship, even family members, like sis friendship, it's gonna come up no matter what. You'll be able to understand what it's like to be in our world. Now, you may not necessarily completely understand it, but you'll have a better idea to grasp. Okay, you know, 7 o'clock, my battery's starting to run down. It's time to, pull it together and things like that. So,
Yeah. So yeah, this was definitely another amazing day.
we thank y'all. That's it.
It was one thing that I kind of wanted to finish off with.
Okay.
Oh yeah. So introvert, extroverts, back to that. We can't allow, especially with the kids, just because they may stand off and they may not want to do this or that, that don't mean that they antisocial. It don't mean that they don't know how to play with kids. It don't mean that they spoiled or anything like that. Slow down and sit down and talk to them. Ask them, what's going on? Why you don't like doing these things? And you will see, okay, my kid's not antisocial. He just his battery is drained right now, so he need to go have his me time.
Yeah. Kids need emotional support days just like we do. Like that is very real. If they say I'm just tired, I don't want to go to school today. Like there's something really real about that. So listen to your kids. If they say, "Mommy, I just need a mental break." If you need a mental break, the kids need
They
a
need one
mental
too.
break too. So listen to them the next time because you never know when they're gonna need it. And then when you hear them and can say, okay, you know what? So it's okay for you to stay home today. Then just see the light of just knowing that you were there to support them no matter what. So, all right,
Yeah.
y'all. We appreciate y'all. We've been on here too long. The kids are getting anxious
Never
now.
too
Never
long.
too long, but the kids get anxious. So we're gonna go
Yeah.
ahead and go. We thank y'all for joining us on an unscripted, beautiful life today on Opposites Attract. To go one of them peeping in now. I don't know where the beautiful one, but
You
you want
coming
to
on?
pop in?
We're gonna have an episode with them in here too. Yeah. I don't know if Trina know that, but we're gonna have them in here. They keep wanting to be
We
in
just
it.
took our hair out, y'all.
Yeah, they look, they keep wanting to be in it. So we're gonna have an episode with them in it and let them talk. And that's gonna be the kids version.
Yep. So we thank y'all for joining us tonight. Until next time, we love you. Continue creating your beautiful life. Bye.